George Carlin, God bless him. I'd said to him one time after a show, he was at the MGM where I was coming a week prior after him. And I said to him, what's it like to be like where you got it? Like, yeah. And he looked right at me and says, what do you mean got it? I said, I mean, you're George Carlin. You got it down. You got it. You just go up now and you just do it. He goes, I never got it. And he was serious. He said, well, the day you think you got it, you ain't got it. And I was like, that's interesting advice, but it's true. I'm never happy with everything at a certain show.
No, completely.
So you have to get to a point where you kind of go up now and have fun and enjoy every moment.
It's breaking bread.
Hey kids, I'm out on tour and going pretty heavy this fall, winter, up pretty much straight through until next June. We just announced a whole bunch of new dates. We're going to San Francisco, NJ-PAC, Philadelphia. We're going to just a whole bunch of places. We're going to Austin, Texas is on. We're going to a whole run in Florida. We've got some Canadian dates. There's no chance that you don't live near where I am coming. So go to tompapa.com, look up the new tour. Also, our new bread products. I have this new line of bread products, Tom Papa and Nambe, this beautiful designer. We have a whole bunch of bread products that's coming out. That'll be on tompapa.com as well. So head over there, and I'll see you on the road. Also, anyone who hasn't joined our Patreon, join our Patreon. It's a great place to get extra bonus content, a great way to support us here at the podcast. We need one more person. We can't afford them. And we need you to pay for it. It's a great place, and it's a great way to round out the community. So go to patreon.com and look up our podcast and join us. It's a fun way to be a part of the community, and you guys are the best. This episode of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa is brought to you by our friends at Wildgrain. Wildgrain is the first bake-from-frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, seasonal pastries, and fresh pastas. Plus, all items conveniently bake in 25 minutes or less. For a limited time, Wildgrain is offering our listeners $30 off their first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/papa to start your subscription. You heard me. Free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/papa, or just use Papa at checkout. Don't miss their seasonal products. Fall is coming. Oh, it's time to bake.
And one night, it was at the Hard Rock, and it was a double-decker theater, and no one ever heckles me, but there was just a guy yelling the whole time, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of setting it up now as him. So I don't know who it is, and then again I finally said, "Can I got it? I wrote this without you, but if I need you, please help me."
Yeah.
And finally, it kept going. I said to the crowd, "Will someone tell the guy to shut up?" And it got really quiet. Like, I thought, they turned on me because I said, tell the guy to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And after the show, they bring me back. I'm talking. They said, Hulk Hogan's here. And I was like, what? And they bring him in. He's like, dude, brother. I said, oh, man. He's like, I was trying to get your attention the whole show. And I'm like, oh, you're the guy? And I said, then I realized, now I know why the crowd's like, I'm not telling Hulk Hogan to shut up. So, yeah, he was like, I was just trying to, I said, I don't need your help.
He can't be in a crowd without being the guy.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the guy.
They're screaming at me. I'm like, no, it's not wrestling. It's comedy. It's timing.
Amazing. What do you think he would have done if you did recognize him? Like, you know what I mean?
I would have said, as my friend, shut up. I would have told him,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come to your match and
and
not yell at you.
You knew him before
and
this?
not yell at you. That'd be the difference. He went, wrestling match. Go, come on, Hulk. I'd sit there and go, yeah, you're done.
Don't you find it's whenever there's a problem in a show, it's usually the people that you invited?
Oh, absolutely. It's always your friends. It's always your friends.
I had my brother-in-law, when I was running around New York, and they're like, some guy through a glass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who? And it was like, you're a
guy.
guy.
You're a guy. Yeah. That's always that.
It's always my people.
Yeah, it's always your people, your guests. Yeah, I want the people in the lobby. They're drunk. They're here. Oh no.
Yeah.
No, your comps.
Completely.
This is my comps. Yes.
You're wearing which our listeners won't see.
Chanel number 5.
I know. Thank you. Is it weird to order cologne over Amazon without smelling it, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I almost did it the other night.
Yeah, no, you got to try it on. Yeah, I think.
Do you wear cologne? I don't smell anything.
No, I don't. I mean, I wear like a very light, like he would have worn. Like, on these,
right.
Phyllis Diller.
Phyllis Diller.
How great is that? So, one of the funniest people in the world.
Yeah.
When I don't know, I just went to that. I didn't even see it, but just look.
Yeah.
When I went to college, that's when I started getting into whatever this is called.
In Florida?
Stand-up. Yeah. I went to FAU, and they had Phyllis Diller came to our college, and I was like, not even really the resident comic. I was just kind of trying to get into it. But you were like, hey, you want, So I go, and the student union says, she's going to come out this door, and you can maybe say hi to her. So I waited, waiting to meet in sync outside like some idiot. And she came out with full on, it was pouring down rain, and they had her white limo, and she had still had everything. And they said, this is Carrot Top. He's the resident comedian at the college. And I'm like, and she said, oh, well, get in. And she puts me in the limo with her. Literally, just her and I, closes the door. She's got that long cigarette.
No.
And she says, now, and my hair wasn't this. It was it was not this.
Just the curls.
It was just, but short. And she said, do you mind if I, and I was like, smoke. So I said, no, it's your limo. So she says, okay, great. She goes and takes her wig off. And I was like, oh. And she's like, yeah. And she's just so goddamn funny. Yeah. She's just like, so give me, what's your opening joke? I'm like, oh man. Oh no, I don't even know an opening joke.
Yeah.
And I told her the joke. It was a Crime Watch sign that I stole. Uh-huh. And I said, that's the joke. I said, I walk on stage and I said, how good is our crime watch if they're not watching their signs? Right. And she's, that's unbelievable. Like, and I never, every time I see it. And
really?
And by the way, the only, in my whole life that I've ever requested an autograph for was Dudley Moore.
Uh-huh. Great one.
And they both sent him. They both sent. I reached out to.
She sent it.
She said
she didn't do it in the limo.
No, she didn't have one with her. But she said, "You send me, I'll send you." And she sent one to the dorm, and it said, "To Carrot Top, the funniest guy at FAU," or something like that.
No.
And yeah.
What a great move of get in the car.
Yeah, I thought she was taking me back to the hotel or something. I don't even make to the airport with her, but I didn't know what. But it was just a moment,
If she had kissed
20
you,
years old.
If she had tried to kiss you on the lips, would you have taken it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Phyllis Diller.
Phyllis Diller.
Same thing happened to Elton John. Now that you brought it up. I went and I'd met him a few times, and I don't know, he said, bring me back. And it was so many people and assistants and handlers, and I walk in about the size room, and he says, Carrot Top. And he goes to, now I go to shake his hand, right? It's all happening in real time. So I go to shake his hand, and right when I go to shake his hand, I realize, he wants to hug me. So I went from this to, we're going to hug. And then right as I went to hug him, I realized, he's going to, I thought maybe he was going to give a kiss. So he went to kiss me on the cheek, and I moved, so he kissed me right on my lips. And I'm literally, I'm not kidding you. It was the most awkward. Like he was disturbed by it. Like how many people people Elton John kiss. He was like, I was like, what did you do? And I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I did not want to kiss her on the lips.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
These are the nice lips, though. I know. Not that I kiss you on the lips.
That is pretty forward.
Yeah.
I would kiss Elton John on the lips.
Right. Even again. I mean, I did it once by accident. Next time you go right in.
Yeah. No, you're wearing running shoes.
Yes.
They're like the elf ones. My wife has.
I call them walking shoes, so I don't run.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I run.
You used to run, right?
I'm a runner.
You were a runner.
No, I still run.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
How often?
Almost every day, but now it's a couple miles. It used to be 5. Now, it's still 2 is a long way.
That's good. Yeah.
2 is a long way.
Whenever I go for a run, I try and get close to 3. And I'm like, just starting to realize, like, the older you get, like, if you could just go out the door and run a couple miles,
just get to the car.
That's pretty great. You know what I mean? If you could do that.
And people always tell me that too. Like, why do you run 3 miles? Running a half a mile is the same as running 3. I'm like, well,
Not really.
Well, they say it is. They say that
Who's they?
Those the people. They say that the amount of calories and what you burn in fat is equivalent of just 20 minutes of anything, as opposed to when people run a marathon 20 miles, they're not getting the same benefit you'd get if you ran 20 minutes.
Do you believe them?
I'm going to start believing them because it would be a lot easier to run 20 minutes than it was.
You run in Vegas?
Yeah.
So do you do it early?
Yeah.
What's
I
early?
run in Florida too. I run where I have 30 homes. All the
Done very well.
When I'm in London, I don't run that much. But no, yeah, I know.
Yeah, so you got to get up early and go because it's so
it gets
hot.
It gets hot. Yeah. It's hot even at 6 in the morning. It's Vegas. It's like boiling hot at 6. But
Yeah. I need the temperature to be so perfect for me to run now. Then I just jump on the Peloton and just pedal inside.
Right.
I'm like, I can't.
Yes.
It's the sun. It's going to be hot.
Yes. And I can't go on this. People see me on the beach like, Jesus, you have protection. You have protection. Sun.
You running around Vegas. Yeah. I mean, everybody would recognize you. And then want to start running with you, like that scene in Rocky.
They recognize
like
me,
when all the kids
not
start
just in
running
Vegas,
with him.
Okay. Someone said so one time to me. They're like, "Man, like you're like really recognized and involved in Vegas." I'm like, I'm the same in Nashville. I mean, I'm the same idiot. You know what I mean? Like people think you're only if you only know you in Vegas on the strip. I'm like, well, no, you go outside of this.
Yeah, but there's something special about seeing you.
Yeah,
because
they see the billboard. They see
exactly.
You are Vegas.
And now you've become an institution in Vegas. And you know, people who are in Vegas, they end up being in films and doing stuff because, that icon is in Vegas. Like you were in Hacks.
Yes.
Recently.
That was great.
And it's
so good.
It's cool to see.
I was such a fan of the show prior to them. I was just home watching it. I loved the show prior to that.
Yeah.
And they mentioned me. That I was sitting there. I was like, what the? It's weird when you're just watching the show you love, and all of a sudden they're like, you broke up with Carrot Top. Get on with it. And I was like, what the? I just was like blown away. So I called, the people, and I said, they just mentioned me on Hacks. Maybe, I can be on there because they're already a fan, I guess. And then why not make me apparently I broke up with her daughter.
Right.
Or whatever. We broke up. So I thought, well, make it like, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they called and they said, oh, we would love that. Like, yeah. So I came on as a kind of she tried to get back at me for breaking up with her daughter, and she ruined my which is this huge, big palatial mansion. And that's the best part about television, right? I'm like,
it was great.
Everyone's going to think that's my house.
Yeah,
right?
completely.
They're like, he's loaded. You see him on HBO? It's like, that's not my, and then I just say, yes, that's my house.
I completely thought it was your house. This is why show
my
business
friends
works.
said the best part is they thought that you were straight. That's what I thought was great. They're like, wow, they put you in a show that you were dating a girl. Like, see, television.
Son of a hoo-ha. You have, how long, you've been the longest in Vegas, right? Comedian residency?
I don't know. I mean, I
think so.
I think Liberace and I are still,
he wasn't
head
funny.
to head.
He wasn't funny.
No, I think as far as been the years of an actual residency, I think it's down to longest pure running. It's I think Penn and Teller.
Right.
Who've been there close to. I've been there 20. Well, I've been there longer. I've been at one property 20 years. So.
But then before that, you were MGM.
Yeah, MGM. So I think I'm coming up on like 30 years in Vegas. So, but a full-time residency, full-time. But the MGM, I was doing a partial kind of thing.
Right.
This full-time every night punch the clock day gig has been 20 years. So
amazing.
I think it's. Penn and Teller, and I always say, it's Penn and Teller, only one talk. So I get that.
How has been?
It just goes to me.
How have you changed? What's it done to your brain to be in the
full
desert?
Sex change. I mean, that's it happens in you.
Yeah.
No, how have I changed in Vegas? Or?
Yeah, like because when Vegas is an intense place, and a lot of people like 3 days and I got to get out of there. And it's become more of a city since you started there, so it's more livable, I imagine. Sure. But like, how have you changed as a performer?
Well, what's crazy about you just said that, and everyone says that. All my friends say, "Oh my God, how do you stay there? I mean, how do you do a year there?" I'm like, "Well, I don't go out." I mean, so people that go in there and they say, "I get 3 days," and they got to get out of there,
right? Because they're getting wasted.
They're getting wasted and going out in bars and clubs, and I go to the show and go home.
Right.
So I can do,
Yeah.
But I go out. We have dinner like this. We would go to a place like this, and but as far as the Vegas itself has changed, my God, it's
Amazing,
it's nothing like when I started. There was 12 hotels. I mean, now there's. My joke in the show is, your room's not ready. Oh, you're cleaning it? No, we're building it right now.
Right.
And we're just putting in the carpet. But it's amazing how the town has grown and changed.
Yeah.
And seen all the shows that have come and go too. So it's kind of it's surreal. Too.
Right. And your mansion is off by itself. It's like it's on its own street.
I'm in a trailer park right off Decatur, and
I saw you. We were piecing together whether we've never hung out, but
thank God
we did meet.
We
did meet once. I was starting, and I was at the Tropicana when you would have to do that week-long thing, and we got to sneak over and see you, and you were at the MGM.
Okay.
So that puts us 20 ago.
20 exactly.
20, and. You were so great. It was so impressive to watch because I'm just there like doing my first week of Vegas and trying to like figure out how to be a comedian.
I think I was still trying to figure it out too.
You were so dialed in. You were so.
Oh, that's sweet.
You had all the boxes behind you and just such a solid show. And the joke that lingers the longest was that thing about waking up in Vegas when your blackout shade has a slit in it.
That is like
that shaft of light that hits you.
And I had my lighting guy make that actual go. It's like a gobo they call it. And because I wanted the joke and the spotlight couldn't do it, so we actually have a guy that made that. So when
shaft of light,
it just comes right in a beam, and now I've got that ramp on the stage. So when I lay down on the bed, it's a great joke. It's been
so great.
I used to do back when at the MGM, I'd say it would be all green because when you sleep at the MGM Grand, it's all lit up. Your bed's like it's a radiation leak in your room. And then I got to the Luxor and we just changed it to the same joke in a sense, just changed
that joke
location.
really hits.
Well, it's always this with jokes and things that people resonates with people if it's something so relatable and so real.
Yeah,
that's what makes I always love Carlin and Seinfeld. All the people that when you watch the show, you're just thinking, it's why didn't I think of that?
Yeah,
it's so.
Those are the best.
Right, because
it feels like it was right there.
It's right, yeah.
In front of us all.
You always want that you can relate, and you look to the guy next to you, and you're like, that happened to me too. That's great.
In that time, let's call it 30 years, Vegas? 30?
Yeah, 30.
How often would you go out and tour?
A lot, not a lot, because more in MGM days. I was always touring because we had, it was just a partial residency. So I would do, which I do a whole thing in the show now. I hate when they get all the word residency. Because I have a residency we do, it's called, hence the word resident. You're there every night, you live there and you work on it. They'll have like, Adele. I make fun of it just because she had a 3-week engagement. And I would say Adele just ended her residency. I'm like, how many shows did Adele do? And 6 comes up. It's not even a fucking week. It's not a residency. But I was doing a lot more road because we just had the partial residence. But now with what I'm doing, Luxor, we still try to get out and do some, but it's usually my week off. So it's kind of hard you still need to get a break.
How does that go?
Somehow.
Week off after how many weeks on?
On average, 4 weeks, and
4
then a
and
week.
then
Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 2, but on average, it's about a month, a week off a month, which is it's good.
Yeah, no, that's a great schedule.
Yeah.
When I'm pals with, and I'm sure you are too, with George Wallace, and I hung with him.
Never heard of him.
When he was working the Hilton or the Flamingo.
Yeah, Flamingo.
And I hung with him like during the day.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how much work he had to do.
Well,
he was like running an ad agency.
Oh, he was great, right? He's one of a kind.
He was like he had.
Oh, he went out.
We would sit and he would watch the cars go by and count how many ads he had.
Yeah, well, he did that with me one time at lunch. I say, I'd say, stop counting your trucks. My God, we see you. Yeah, I try not to look at mine.
But then he would get pissed if it wasn't the right amount.
Absolutely, he paid for that. No, marketing,
show.
and he would. And George, God bless him, he would even go out on the streets and and tell come see my show tonight, best show at 10 p.m. show.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's the only show at 10 p.m. It's not the best show at 10 p.m. It's the only show. Of course, it's the best show.
Yeah.
I love George.
Oh, he's so great.
He's unbelievable.
But did you have to do that in the MGM days, or did you ever have to hustle like that? Like,
I mean,
his deal was probably a little different.
Yeah, it was.
Because he would.
Yeah,
What they call four
well,
wall.
no, I'm four walls ever since we've day one of done it. Well, always been a four wall.
Oh, really?
But
which means what to our listeners?
Is basically you rent the space. So if it's two wall, half the hotel owns half, and you own half.
Right.
The four wall mean you basically rent the space is what it really is.
Right.
I'm just renting.
And as a result of that, the hotel isn't really as invested in selling you.
Well, they, in a sense, of course, no, they don't. And we beg for them to put up ads and put more billboards and Duratrons and all around the hotel. I am involved in the marketing aspect of that. But we've been a four wall, and that's people have always been amazed because it's a little different. It's all on you.
It's all on you. Yeah,
it's whoever comes. Comes.
Yeah.
They don't come. So when you have a two wall, the hotel pays for half your expenses, and So
at this point, it's got to be a lot less work to sell you.
Well,
right? At what point were you like on solid ground and didn't have to, where everybody knew you and wanted to come see a Carrot Top show?
Tomorrow. After this,
you still feel like you're chasing it?
Yeah. You always feel like you're chasing
Really?
it. Absolutely. George Carlin, God bless him. I'd said to him one time after a show, he was at the MGM where I was coming a week prior after him. And I said to him, it's whether you never forget these things. I said, well, what's it like to be like where you got it?
Yeah.
And he looked right at me and says, what do you mean got it? I said, you're George Carlin. You got it down. You got it. You just go up now and you just do it. He goes, I never got it. And he was serious. He said, well, the day you think you got it, you ain't got it. And I was like, that's interesting advice, but it's true. I'm never happy with everything at a certain show.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten better at that. I would beat myself up after every show, even if just one little thing didn't work.
No, completely.
So you have to get to a point where you kind of go up now and have fun and enjoy every moment.
For sure. I mean, but creatively, it's that, you always, I think the best ones always feel vulnerable.
Sure.
Because then you feel like you got to work more and you never feel, it's what keeps you going and creating.
Yeah.
But as far as the sales, the marketing end of it.
Yeah, there's always, I'm involved in that every day. We have marketing, everything. Every day there's something involved. I don't sit in most of the meeting, but they'll come before the show. We have a little manager comes in and get me the day whatever. They'll learn the discussions that have happened through the hotel and whatnot.
Right.
But we're always involved. I was a marketing major, so
you were.
When I got a marketing, which is fine, I used to do a joke. You get a degree in marketing and you go right into comedy, right? but there's always that. The marketing is incredible.
It never stops.
And I always used it back, even when I was. We were watching an old clip the other day on the Tonight Show, and I'm thinking the first thing I literally they show the clip, and the first thing I thought of was that can't be. I always had my logo in the back of my trunks.
Right.
When I first started, when 30th comic of the night to come up, and I'd bring my little trunk up and I'd lift the lid and it said Carrot Top. And people were like, I said, it's in there, it's embedding in their heads already. So when the show was over, they said, oh, who did you see tonight? And they were like, I don't know, it was a guy named Carrot Top.
Right.
Because they saw it, it was in their head. So I've always, in a sense, used the marketing. So I saw it on Tonight Show. I'm like, wait, I didn't have Carrot Top on my lids. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
I must have missed the mark that day. I would always put my, or they wouldn't allow me, the Tonight Show, you can't, book at carrottop.com.
Yeah.
Why? It's my thing.
Yeah.
No, you can't advertise.
It's interesting as you're talking that comedy isn't far from marketing.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're trying to convey an idea. You're trying to communicate with these people for a laugh or for them to come to see you and able to laugh, make them laugh. Yeah. But they're very similar.
Yeah.
Right? And just trying to deal with these human beings.
Marketing is in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to have more meetings. We need more meetings. We should meet all the time. We don't meet enough. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. It'd be weird if I came on your show and
can I tell you
couldn't
something?
ask me a question.
This is going to sound so
no,
hacky.
I'm just going to talk. You're not going to answer me any questions.
This is going to sound hacky and stupid.
All right.
But I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I cook for my family. I'm the cook. And yesterday...
Wonderful. Nice.
Thank you. Oh, I baked this bread for you, by the way.
Very nice.
I really did.
Did you really?
I swear to God, this morning.
I'm going to get into that.
No, it's yours. I baked it for you. And you get to take it home.
Thank you. If I had a home.
I know. I was worried about that. There was a little bit of me. It was like, I got to give it to him, but I know he's in a hotel.
He doesn't. I'm in a hotel.
Yeah.
Do you eat they don't have bread. Yeah. Who doesn't eat bread? I hate when people say that. You don't eat anything. You must be a diet. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, I can eat at a pizzeria. They're like, so you don't eat carbs, right? I'm like, I'm eating a fucking pizza.
Well, you look like you're in such good shape.
It's all fake. It's all. When I lived in L.A., I love this. I went to a Gold's Gym in Venice Beach all the time. I just love this. I'm working out there, and this lady walks up. She's like, wow, who did your implants? And I said, like, it's a weird thing to say to someone. So I'm thinking like cheek implants? And I go, so I made a joke. I said, oh, my calves? And she said, no, your arm. I said, my arm? She goes, I said, implants? Only in L.A. would someone walk up to the gym and say, who does your implants?
And want the number.
My calves lady. I had my calves.
This is me doing your bread this morning.
You really are.
This was your bread, yeah.
You sure that wasn't like Jack Black's? You didn't make that for Jack Black last week. Now you're making it.
No.
I mean, do you say during it, this is for Carrot Top?
No, this was literally this morning.
You didn't say it.
Look, what's it say up there? What's that?
God, I have my glasses.
It says today.
It says bullshit.
It says today.
Bullshit. You did that today? Well,
Son
thank
of a
you.
bitch.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Whatever.
I don't think he says Carrot Top in it, though. If he said, now I'm going to have Carrot Top on this afternoon, so I'm making this bread, then...
I should,
right?
The marketing part of me... I should be saying that.
I should be like, I'm making court, I'd say it's
bread.
complete bullshit. He didn't say he was making it for me. It was probably for David Spade.
All right, it was
Who
David
doesn't
Spades.
eat bread, doesn't he? Yeah.
This episode of Breaking Bread is brought to you by our friends at Wildgrain. Wildgrain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal bread, seasonal pastries, and fresh pastas. Everything you get, you put in your freezer, and you come home and you bake it within 25 minutes or less. You take it from this little frozen concoction to this beautiful baked good right in your kitchen. Unlike store-bought, Wildgrain uses a slow fermentation process that's easier on your belly, richer in nutrients and antioxidants, and made with simple ingredients that you can pronounce. This is a good way to help support our podcast by visiting Wildgrain, and it's a good way to get just delicious stuff filling your house with those beautiful baked smells. Wildgrain's boxes are fully customizable. They're constantly adding seasonal and limited time products for you to enjoy. In addition to their classic box, they now feature a gluten-free box and a plant-based box. I love Wildgrain. My freezer is stacked with them. We have a great relationship because, as I've said before, as I've said before, this should be my business. I should be running this. I should have Wildgrain. I should be the president of Wildgrain. We should actually get someone on the phone right now. I love artisanal breads, as you know, and it is a big part of my life. And just to have it always on hand is great. Think about back to school. Think about that. Think about you kids coming home. Everyone's back to their fall schedule, and you've got this stuff just waiting for you. Treat yourself and your loved ones to warm sourdough breads and seasonal baked goods from Wildgrain. They also have apple cider donuts and pumpkin cinnamon biscuits. Come on! Wildgrain is offering our listeners $30 off their first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/papa to start your subscription. You heard me. Free croissants in every box. $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/papa. Go check them out. And if you go to buy, use the promo code PAPA at checkout. Yum. We'd like to thank the good people at Trade Coffee for sponsoring today's program. We love Trade Coffee. It's getting a little cooler. You can feel it. The summer is winded down. And now, even if you're in a place where it's kind of warm, it's not really summer feeling. It's really coffee feeling, isn't it? I mean, you can have coffee in the summer. You can do cold brew and iced coffee, but you know what I mean. It's time to explore and find some good coffee to take you into the next season. Trade Coffee is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S. for both hot and cold coffee drinkers. They have sourced the best beans from over 50 top roasters across the U.S. They go out, they find the roasters, they bring you the beans, you go on their website, you select them, and they come to your door. For cold brew lovers, they teamed up with 15 roasters to create a special collection made just for cold brew. They have easy to use, curated gear, so you can brew at home with better flavor and value. I use pour over. And they have prices on par with grocery store brands. But the quality is next level, whether it's smooth cold brew or a cozy hot cup to start your day. Plus, you're supporting local roasters. You're supporting local roasters and Old Rusty with every cup. It's a win-win. You go on the website, you take their quiz, and in under a minute, they'll recommend the coffee that you'll love. And the first bag isn't quite right, no problem. Trade will replace it for free until they nail it, and then you're off and you're running. Right now, Trade is offering 50% off a 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/papa. That's drinktrade.com/papa to get 50% off 1 month. drinktrade.com/papa. If you love coffee, you are going to love Trade Coffee. Enjoy. How is your show?
Not good.
No.
How's your show going? Yeah, it's going great.
How does it evolve?
You know what's crazy? Being honest, that's one thing that's kind of fun as you do it more and you get older and you kind of going to George Carlin. You finally figured out. I haven't figured it out, but I figured out kind of in a way how I write for myself, which was always a little bit sporadic and a little bit, But I've never been one of those people that write. I have friends they're like, "What are you doing?" They're like, I'm just, I'm writing today. I'm like, oh, for a sitcom? What are you writing? And they're like, no, just write. I'm like, write? Like, I've never, ever sat down and said, I'm going to write.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's amazing.
I'm just driving and I see, lunch in the airplane today. I start writing because I'm like, that's funny.
Right.
Odd places, but I never just write.
More just to write down an idea.
An idea or something. I was, this is I don't know put in the show or not, but we got on the plane this morning. This is real. This is like you can't write this. The flight attendant said, "Welcome. Sorry, just to inform everybody, we have someone with a peanut allergy. If anyone has peanuts, if you could refrain from eating any peanuts, we would appreciate it very much, and the passenger would really appreciate it." And for some reason, I'm thinking, the fuck? I mean, I'm 60, right? I know there's peanut allergies, and I don't know, but they give you peanuts on planes. I mean, the first thing they gave was a fucking thing of peanuts. So
stop eating them.
So I just went, that's weird. And the guy next to me, literally like a Larry the Cable Guy. It might have been Larry. It might have been Dan. He just within just right when she said, "We really appreciate it," he reached into he had like a bag from the airport, like, where you get magazines and snacks. He reached in and he pulled out a bag of peanut M&Ms and he looked right at me and he goes, "They'll be all right." And I just went, "That." And he goes, "Is that going?" I said, "That's." And I started writing. He said, "Is that going on your show?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Is that seriously?" And I said, "Yeah." "You're not going to show my." I said, "I'm not going to show your picture of you. I'm just going to tell the joke." And then I said, "Actually, just in case, I need you." And he goes, "No." But that's that's how I think of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It just happens, and you're like, "That's funny."
Right.
It's always things on planes too. At one time, a guy leans over and he says to me, "We have something in common." It was this old guy, so I said, "Oh, like maybe my dad worked at NASA. Maybe he worked at NASA."
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, what do we have in common?" He said, "We're both 65." And I said, "I'm not 65." He goes, oh, you weren't born in 65? I said, well, born in. So I've got to go on the show. You know,
Right.
it's shit like that.
Yeah.
Like,
What percentage of the act is lines to bits to props?
way more stand-up now.
Oh, really?
I mean, people are. It's the number one comment I get from friends that, not just friends, but people in general. Even though they comment on the show, they always say,
You're talking more?
no, they love it. They don't. They just say,
Yeah.
I've never seen you. I've been telling stories a lot. And people
Right.
really, my buddy Lazzy was here, just said the same thing. He said, my favorite part of your show is that whole story about taking your dad to see Gallagher. And I was like, it's a real story. And you get into that story,
Right.
the crowd just dead silent. They're on every word.
Right.
And back in the day when I started, I was terrified to have a moment of silence. It was
Right.
always so rapid.
Full energy,
Right, the
yeah.
next prop. If it was 1 second of not laughing, I was terrified.
Yeah, yeah.
And now you're like, I'm going to tell a story. And it could be 3 minutes for nothing. They're just
Interesting.
listening, and then you get that. But then you get to that punchline. It better be good, you know. Because one
Yeah.
night I was doing it, and I'm like, and my friend's like, "You're brave, man." I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "That always gets a." But you know, one night
Yeah.
it doesn't. Then you're screwed because that's
Yeah.
there's nothing worse when you send someone to comedy and they say, "Hey, how was that?" And they go. They didn't tell jokes. They just ended on like some weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, they didn't have a closing joke, and they said no. They didn't have a joke. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't do crowd work.
Right. Yeah.
Ever. I mean, unless someone yells something out, then I'll say.
Right.
Then you go off and I can go off all night long, ad-libbing back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
But other than that, I prepared a show, an hour and a half show. I
Yeah.
don't really need to interact with how are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, right,
I never say,
exactly.
where are you from? Or Chicago. Oh, great. What do you do in Chicago? I've never done that.
Right,
And
yeah.
some people are great at that.
Yeah.
Len always says, hey, what do you do? I thought you work for the government. And it ties it all in. It's great. But
Yeah,
I just have
yeah.
never been that guy.
Right. Right. Why do you think you started telling more stories?
COVID. So I got into we as you know, everyone didn't work, and when I was the first show back in Vegas to come back because it was just me. There wasn't dancers and bands, and so there was
Right.
just a single guy. Not actually my crew, but the closest, the video guy was where your guy is.
Yeah.
But it was they put me in a theater. It was like a 2,000 seat theater with only allow 100 people in,
Right.
and distanced, and
Wow.
and a moat.
Yep.
So my whole act is like
Yeah.
visuals and right.
Yeah.
So I started to tell stories
Yeah.
more. I still did the
Yeah.
props, but I noticed the props weren't working as well because they couldn't see them, and there was no video. It was just so I started telling stories, and it really worked. It was just like
Oh, interesting.
one, yeah. And then after that, I broke my leg snowboarding, and I was on a knee scooter for about 4 months, and I couldn't do my normal
really?
thing. I couldn't
Yeah.
even reach props because
Oh,
I was on a
geez.
knee. So I just started sitting on this like a stool. I was on my scooter, and I'd
Right.
say, my brother went to the thing, and
Yeah. And it's still.
and it was great. The crowd they'd never seen me just tell,
What
my
did it
brother
feel
was
like
named
for you?
Garrett, So
Yeah, right.
after when you land in LAX, it says Garrett Aviation. It's been there for 1,000 years. And my dad, when he flew into LA, he said Garrett Aviation. That's a cool name. And then my brother became a pilot, which is kind of creepy, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he named him after that aviation. I would say that. I said, and then my brother turned out to be a pilot named after Garrett Aviation. How crazy is that? And my name is Scott, so my dad basically named me after toilet paper. I was taking a shit, and it would kill. It was a dumb joke, but they showed the picture of my brother Garrett, and my dad said, "I'm shit, per Scott,"
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did it? Was it like a shift for you? Did you start to feel because it's a bit of a leap of faith that you can go and tell these, you're funny.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's a different rhythm on stage.
Yeah.
Did it kind of rejuvenate you?
Absolutely.
And give you like a
Absolutely. It's almost even doing like these podcasts kind of thing. I love doing this kind of stuff because it's completely 100% different than what people see they come see my show.
Yeah.
They're going to see the props and the thing and
Yeah.
stand up, but they never see a conversation.
Right.
And the first time I started doing it, people were like, I love that, you know, I did Joe Rogan. They did like 3 hours and 3.5 hours just talking and telling stories about my career, my life. And people were just blown away by it. They've never seen me talk. Right. They didn't know I had, you know, Lena would never let, not him.
Yeah.
The show itself wouldn't let me sit down at panel and just do this.
And talk.
They would always say, no, we want just the props.
Yeah.
And I would be like, well, I have a great story about my dad at NASA.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And then so these kind of shows came around,
right,
and it became a nice way to even going back to comedy clubs way back in the late '80s when I started. You know, I'd play a club. And they'd have radio, you know, all the comics would do radio shows in the morning, you know.
Right.
Zippy and Doodah in the morning, and it comes Z91.9. Now we got Carrot Top. And the clubs would say, oh, you know, we have all the comics do, you know, the radio, but, you know, since it's you this week, I said, well, I can do radio. And they're like, well, no, because I'm like,
we're not going to see the props. Right.
It was like big markets like Atlanta. And I said, no, I said, trust me. And this is the 80s.
Yeah.
I said, put me on Mark and Mercedes in the morning in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And let me do it.
I'll do fine.
And it was unbelievable. They were like, even the hosts, when they get done, they were like, that was weird. I'm like, what? Like, I didn't, Carrot Top would work on the radio. I'm like, I'm not going to bring my.
Yeah.
I did Howard Stern one, and that was a crazy one because I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And first thing I get in, and I do like, I don't know, we're 20 minutes in, and it's just great. It's going great.
Yeah.
And they go to commercial break, and he goes, I got to be honest, you know, we were reluctant because, you know, I said, I'm going to bring props. I said, I can go get them if you want. Like, and they're at the hotel. And he was like, sure. And I'm like, no. What I did I forgot, I did something where I did that. I said, I can, you know, and it became a really great bit. I had just a little, I didn't bring a whole, I just brought a couple things, and we did it as a joke on purpose. I said, I'm gonna start doing some, you know, I said, hey, it's a cell phone with a thing on it, and it was so stupid.
Yeah.
But the audience loved it, and the host loved it. I'm trying to think what show it was.
Yeah.
And it was like, I can tell a story. I mean, I've been comedy for 40 years. I know how to tell a story.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I can handle it. Yeah. Was it cool having a NASA dad?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean,
yeah.
It wasn't a comedy family. Let me say that.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't. My dad was funny though, but it wasn't like a showbiz family. But my dad was funny. He was great. He had timing like there was no other. You know, nobody. He was incredibly funny. But he would tell street jokes and jokes that he would tell at NASA, and then he'd come home in the cul-de-sac, and he would tell all these jokes. And
really?
I would sit there and listen and laugh, and then I'd go to school, and I wasn't the class clown, but toward or later I'd go in, I'd tell the joke, and the teacher's like, where did you hear? I said, my dad, told the joke. It was great. You can't tell that at school. I'm like, no. Like, it was a horrible joke.
Was it Cocoa Beach?
Yeah.
I just saw some special on Cocoa Beach, and just the history of how it became.
It was. But other funny thing about my dad working at NASA. So as a kid, I Dream of Jeannie show, of course,
right? And
I love that stupid show, right? You see it now, you're like, what the? And I just love this show, and of course it's filmed, at NASA. That's where they're working.
Yeah.
So my dad would come home from work, and I said, "Do you see Jeannie?" And my dad's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Jeannie." My dad's like, no, it's a TV show, son. I said, well, I know, but they Major Healy, like, no, that's it's in L.A. And I'm like, no, but it's in that. I said, no, son, it's a TV. So I never understood, that whole thing. And then one day they came, the whole cast, all of them, and they did my dad took them on a tour of all the simulators and all the things. There's still a picture just like this in black and white at my house.
Oh, wow.
And it's my dad with Jeannie and what the main Dallas, what his name was. And
what was his name?
Larry Hagman. And I'm like,
thank you,
Larry Hagman. And I was just like, my dad's is a star. Like I said, picture with Jeannie. I'm like, oh my God, it just blew me away. So I was always enamored by that. Even as a young kid, I'm like, I want to be a star.
That's amazing.
Jeannie.
And then you realize what his route was, and you're like, well, I'm not doing that.
No, literally. There's a joke in my show about that. My dad's, I said, you're gonna. I want to be a comedian. It's a really long bit, but I want to be a comedian.
Yeah.
And my dad looked at me and he's like, that's never going to happen. And then I about 10 minutes later, I do the whole joke. My dad says, you're going to work at NASA and train astronauts just like your father. And I do this thing called back, this is never going to happen. That's one of the ones that gets big, but you got to commit for 10-minute bit just to get that. It's never going to fucking happen.
Right.
I'm the stupid son dad. But
Was your brother smart?
Oh, I went to the Air Force Academy. Yeah. Very
really
smart.
Yeah.
And I'm not dumb, but I'm like, I'm not.
That's not what it says in your bio.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, the bio's wrong. I'm not. People always say that. Like, you're very smart. Comics have to be smart.
You
have to be. You're right. You're really. There's
Super
probably
smart.
a few out there that are real dipshits. I know a few.
Yeah,
but other than that, oh, God, Dave.
You met them.
Oh, I've worked with them, but every comic, to be a comic, you have to be on your toes, and you have to be, intelligence and witty comes with it. But
there's enough rebel in you that doesn't want to sit in class and go through all that stuff.
I could never.
Did you go to college?
I did. I got a degree in marketing at FAU.
Right.
Phyllis Diller taught me everything I know.
Yeah. I think it's good to go to school. I
wanted to, and everyone was saying, "Why are you going to college?" I said, "Because I want to get a degree in something."
Yeah.
And then, I would say, I got a degree in marketing, and I go right into comedy. But it was like it helps. It wasn't the reason I wanted to get a degree. When I got the degree, then I was just like, oh, I like this comedy thing, but I'm not a comic. I mean, I watched it as a kid, watching Buddy Hackett and all these on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
But I would say, I want to do that, but I didn't know how you would do that. I thought you just picked the job, right?
Right.
When you're a kid, you're like, I'm going to be an astronaut. You're like, yeah. Oh, you got to go to school. Oh, you got to be smart.
Right.
I just thought you could be whatever you want to be.
Right.
So
it's kind of funny to think of most kids saying, I'm going to be an astronaut, when your dad was an astronaut.
Right. Yeah.
Did he go into space?
Yeah. Dad, no.
No.
He trained all the astronauts in the simulator and to go, and he taught him how to drive, but it sounds weird, the lunar on the moon.
Really?
The rover.
He taught him how to, wow.
So there's pictures of him with, all the astronauts in the moon rover driving,
Oh, that's cool.
On the moon, by the way. It wasn't in a set somewhere in California. I love people. We talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Well, what was your dad think about that? My dad would punch you in the face if you said it wasn't real. Literally.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I actually have a moon shirt on right now. These are not real. This is a set in
never happened.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Do you think that if you hadn't gone into comedy, you would?
Oh God, I'd probably guess people's weight at the fair. It's the only job I could probably do. It's an easy job, right?
Right.
You sit there and $2.90. Nope. Bring the next one in. Want a break? I got one more.
Who was the first comic that you saw, like when you were like starting to think, all right, I might get into this, and you're in a club
on TV or live? Live with Gallagher.
Was Gallagher?
Yeah.
Coming into a
on
club
TV,
into town, or went to a theater show?
A theater, but it was a surf expo, which is weird. So they had this surf expo, and they had this big. It was in a big like arena thing with all the surf thing, and then Gallagher performed, like after,
right.
And it was incredible. My dad and I went, and I was just like blown away. And I said, and that's, kind of like, being my big mentor. It's like, you can't copy it. So going at some props, I was very, very careful about I don't want to be doing what he's doing.
Right.
Because he had a very specific, unique style of his props, which if you go back and see them, most of them were, God, there was some that was just, he was jumping on a couch.
Right.
But then there's ones that are like, holy shit, I wish I'd wrote that. The T-O-M-B, tomb, B-O-M-B, boom. No, that'd be bomb. And he flips the letters. That is the most brilliant thing. If you can find that on anyone watching your show.
Oh, yeah.
It's mind-blowing how smart it is.
Right.
And so I always wanted to have like a little bit of smart in there along with stupid. That was like what I liked about Carlin. Carlin would say, I'd talk about abortion for an hour and then talk about farting.
Yeah.
And you were like, God, he did. It was unbelievable.
I remember that as a kid watching Carlin. I think it was the Carnegie Hall one.
Yeah.
And he was getting really heavy and talking about something really heavy, and then just started doing the crab. And he just starts walking around as a crab.
Unbelievable. And that to this day, I think it would be Gallagher, Carlin, Richard Pryor, Cosby. I mean, there's so many that just you just study, you know.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. When you were talking about the long story for the payoff, I was thinking about when I saw Cosby, and that was at Carnegie Hall actually, and I mean, he went. It felt like 5-6 minutes of telling this thing,
right?
And then the payoff was so big. It was so the laugh was. It was monstrous.
Right.
It was at a different level,
right?
Because he built it up for so long.
Sure. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, it was masterwork.
You kind of learn or try to learn from those, those great comics. You watch them. They tell the story like that. So when you're right in the middle of sometimes during my thing, I'll be thinking, oh man,
yeah,
what are you doing? Right in the middle of the bit. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Isn't that the worst? When you judge yourself in the middle of a joke.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can see some lady just looking at her phone. I'm like, shit, she wants to get out of here. And I'm in the middle of this beautiful story that's going to go nowhere.
Did you ever get to meet Buddy Hackett?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I was at a.
I'm interested in the people that would come through town.
I didn't meet him in Vegas. I was in an airport lounge in Charlotte, and U.S. Air Club, and I went in there, and the lady, which happens to me all the time, they'll check me in. She's like, "Oh my God, this is like comedy day," And I'm like, comedians day, and I'm like, of course, the first thing you say is, "Who's here?"
Yeah.
He said, Buddy Hackett is here. I said, Buddy Hackett's here?
That's a good one, yeah.
And I went around the coffee, and I'm looking, goddamn, there he is. And I sat there, and I thought, do I say anything? I mean, this is I was just not even I barely doing it.
Yeah. Well, you're in the lounge.
And I'm like, I'm in the U.S. Air Lounge, so I did it right.
Yeah.
But I'm like, God, I sitting with some guys that would do this? Oh, fuck. And I just walked up and I said, I don't want to bother you. And of course, the first thing to say is, too late, you're already here. I just want to, I'm an up and coming comic. And I just, he says, oh, well, then I'm going to give you some advice. And I said, oh my God, I would love that. And I have it framed in my house. It still says U.S. Air Club, And he writes down in a napkin and he gives it to me. And he says, now don't he said something like, don't wipe your ass with this. And I said, just beautiful. Just like, I'm going to frame this. What do you mean? Yeah. And he, we'll read it. And I read it and he goes, you don't get it. And I said, no, I get it. And he goes, you don't get it. And the guy next to me, he says he gets it. And he says, all right, what does it mean? And it was weird because I'm like, I don't really get it, but then so he wrote down, the key to the treasure is the treasure. Buddy Hackett. So I said, I get it. And then the guy says, he gets it. What does it say? What does it mean? I said, well, the key to life is life. The key to happiness is happiness. The key to your journey is the journey. And he was like, fuck, you got it. And I was thinking I guess I did. I just broke it down like the key to the treasure is the treasure. Like, and I thought I framed it and I thought that is cool,
Yeah, it's really great.
Instead of like, don't eat green pea, something stupid.
Yeah, write more.
Yeah, write more. Yeah, write more. Yeah. Stop doing dick jokes. So that was great advice. And, I met a lot of...
That's amazing.
A lot of legends. We talked about Phyllis Diller, Carlin...
Yeah, well, tell me about Carlin. I never got to meet Carlin.
Oh, he was. I have so many Carlin ones, but there was one that just stands out. He was coming off stage. I was going to perform the next day at the MGM. He was finishing his run. I came on the side, and his manager Jerry Hand said, "Oh, just stand right here." I said, "I'll get in his way." No. I watched the end of the show, and he was in a mood.
Was this when the MGM's where he kind of blew up and got fired, right?
In a sense, I don't know if he got fired, but they
were like,
didn't re-sign him.
He went against gambling.
He went against everything. I went against gambling. He was just like, yeah. He was at the end of just his. He was just not in a good spot,
Yeah.
happy wise. But he came off, and I'm trying to get out of the way because the last thing I want is we got to run into fucking Carrot Top at the end of the show. So I kind of moved to get out of the way, and he sees me, and he's like, he says first thing he says, ah shit, how much of the show did you see? And I said, no, how many shows? I said a good amount. He says. So, anything funny? But I said, no, I saw like the last 30 minutes. It was great. He says, so you didn't see the show? And I said, no, it was awesome. And he says, okay. That whole, he goes, when do you start? I said, tomorrow. I said, what, thanks for, setting it up. Now I got to follow you. And he was like, what does that mean? I said, well, you're George Carlin. I'm fucking, Carlin, Carrot Top. He goes, how many shows do you do? And I said, what do you mean? He said, when you're here. I said, I do one a night. I said, Saturday we do 2. Mm-hmm. He goes, why do you do 2? And I said, because my manager has a car payment. And he just looked at me and he says, no, why do you do fucking 2? And I said, I don't know. I said, I do 1, and if I fuck up the first one, I get a second shot at it. He got right in my face. Literally as to grab my Batman, grabbed me didn't grab me. He just got right in my face.
You felt it, yeah.
And he said, don't you ever give the audience the upper hand. You do your shit, they get it, great. They don't, fuck them. And he walked out to his dressing room, and I said, Jerry, well, that went well. And he said, no, he fucking loves you. Hang out for a second. I said, no, I don't think he wants to. Yeah. He said, hang out. Maybe a second later, he said, hey, he did that little whistle.
Yeah.
Carrot, Top, or whatever he called me.
Yeah.
And I went to his dressing room, and he never talked about anything like that again. He just said, he said, so where'd you get your, but not anything about, you start, and he said, you're, it was coolest thing in my life was he said to me, that cup joke you do is fucking funny. And I'm thinking, my cup joke. He knows my act.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my cup joke? He goes, the telephone. And I'm thinking, it was one of my favorite props I've ever come up with.
Yeah.
It was a telephone, paper cups, and string.
Right.
And I said, everyone knows this, right? The telephone. I said, why don't they have a new one for an updated version? And I had another cup came out for call waiting.
Right.
And then 3 cups came out for conference calling. And it was that big.
Yeah.
I mean, boom would get just conference, and then conference calling. And then I'd say call forwarding, and I threw it. And then I had a clear cup for caller ID. I know it's you pick up. And he just was like, how the fuck did you? That's brilliant.
Right.
And I never forget that. I was like, George Carlin thinks something I did is brilliant.
That's so
and he
crazy.
did. He said, how do you write that? And I said, well, how do you write? He said, no, how did you write that? I said, well, how did you write the stuff bit?
Yeah.
And he goes, all right. Like,
you're right. I can't explain it.
I don't know. I just wrote it. And then he was like, "It's fucking." He had respect, He was like, "That was great."
Never let the audience have an upper hand.
Ever give them the upper hand ever. He says, "You go up there and do your shit. And they get it. They do. If they don't, they fuck themselves."
Do you believe that?
No.
Can you live that way?
No.
I have a hard time.
No, I said no. No,
Yeah,
I wish I could do that. No.
Right, because when you're talking about like the woman with the phone, and you're like, oh, she's getting bored, she wants to go. That's how I am on stage. I'm like uber sensitive. I want to win everybody over.
Absolutely, I could never be that. I've talked about that way in the past with on shows where they say, I would get a lot of crap because I was they'd say, oh, he's not selling out. It was like a sellout. Bill Hicks had a great rip on me years ago. He said, and this is it was a great rip though. But he was ripping on himself. He said he was on Letterman. He says, yeah, they're. I said, look at this, huh? I'm in a club last night with 50 people. However, they're draining lakes and putting in bleachers to see Carrot Top. And I thought, he's ripping on me, but he also must. So I met him Now this is kind of dark and
Go for
creepy.
it. I like
I was
dark
playing
and
a
creepy.
club in West Palm Beach, Florida, called the Comedy Corner. It was one of the very first clubs that let me not only perform, but I got to, on a Tuesday night, they let me like middle, and then all of a sudden they said, okay, on a Sunday or Monday or one, we'll let you headline if you can do 30 minutes. So anyway, this club, it was like, wow, the Comedy Corner, and they had Foxwoods, they had Seinfeld, everyone came to this club. It smelled like beer and vomit. It was just an old comedy club.
Yeah.
And the manager, Colleen McGar, was the one that literally, I went there with one prop. That's how long I'd known her, and she said, do you have more of that visual stuff? Because it's really funny. All I had was my Crime Watch sign, which I used to hold it up and say, how good is our Crime Watch? And I'm watching their signs. And she said, can you do more of that? So I said, I can steal more signs. And she said, that's funny. So I started coming up with those. Anyway,
Yeah.
she was dating Bill Hicks. Didn't know really. I didn't know she was dating him.
Yeah, yeah.
After this first show, she came up and hugged me. She's like, I can't believe you. You did so good. I'm so proud of you. And you came to me with one prop, and you just did 45-minute set, and it was great.
Wow, that's great.
And I said, I know. I said, what sucks though? I get someone like Bill Hicks that's ripping on me, and she goes, Bill Hicks. She's, what did he say? I said, I told her the thing. I said, I don't know why he hates me. And I'm putting all my stuff together for the second show.
Yeah.
She leaves. This is crazy. And I go out to the hallway to go to the green room, and she comes walking in with Bill Hicks. Now, this is 2 weeks before he died. He weighs like 80 pounds. And he comes walking down the hallway, and I didn't see it was him. I couldn't even recognize him. He was just all skeleton. I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was going to get him out of his bed. And he comes walking, and she says, Scott. And I said, fuck, what's up? He goes, I don't hate you. And I was like, why you didn't come down? He says, no, I had to get up fucking, you got me out of fucking bed. I had to come all the way down here to tell you I don't hate you. I fucking, and I would he hugged me, and then literally 2 weeks later, he'd passed.
Oh my God.
And that was crazy, right? He wanted to clear the air with me.
Yeah, and let you know.
Because he was just, he was just being, how comics would. He was like, I wish I could play a fucking arena,
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
So
God.
that was great.
I mean, that's always the
Not really the way you want to meet somebody, but it was.
No, but what a blessing. I mean, really, because when you respect people, like if you had heard like Carlin made a crack about you, you'd be like, oh come
I'd be
on,
mortified.
right? Exactly.
Oh no, I'd be mortified.
Yeah.
And that's what I always use the word all the way back when I was a kid, when I get picked on in school, which is, I live in Florida with red hair and freckles, and Jesus, you know what? Everyone had blonde hair and surfer and tan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I would come home, and my mom was like, what's wrong? And I said, someone picked on me. And my mom would say, who picked on you? And I'd say, everybody. And she said, well, who picked on you? And I'd say, and she said, well, honey, consider the source. And it literally is embedded in me.
Yeah.
Because whenever someone says shit about me, it's always that. It's consider the source. It wasn't Shanling making fun of me. It wasn't Carlin. It wasn't, It was always someone never have heard of in a basement in Omaha, Nebraska. I keep picking on Omaha, but someone in the middle of Iowa in a basement just like Carrot Top sucks.
Right.
And now it's more prone and relevant because of social media.
Right.
So people say, "Do you read your thing?" I said, "Fuck, I don't read." No, I don't get near that. I get people walk up. Did you see what that guy? I said, "No, I don't want to hear what the guy said."
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the guy.
Yeah.
I don't care what I do. I could eat a hot dog on social media and say, I thought you why are you eating steak? I'm like, it's a fucking hot dog. Like, people are insane.
Yeah.
I really can't.
No, I know. It's funny.
You shouldn't eat steak that could kill people. Yeah, it's a fucking hot dog.
Yeah.
I'm eating Kraft macaroni and cheese. And say,
Yeah.
why are you eating tuna? How bad it's not tuna. It's macaroni.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll post these bread videos, of me doing the bread.
Yeah, I saw
and,
that.
people will shit on me because of the clock behind me. And they're like, he said it was the morning, but it looks like it's 4 or something like that. I'm like,
What's the matter?
People
Like,
are zooming in
No.
to like look for.
Oh, yeah, no,
to
they
look
always
for
know. They
shit.
always- oh, yes.
Everybody's always looking for something.
Yep.
You know.
That's what you should do. Always put like a dildo in the back somewhere just so they can, I see the dildo. Hey, I'm good. That's why I put it there.
I don't want to brag, but I watched Wicked last night.
Nice.
And and there was a scene. It was beautiful, and there was a scene when Elphaba, is that her name? The green one comes walking in.
The green one.
And everyone's laughing at her. The whole school is laughing at her because she's wearing this hat. And it really just hit me of that is the biggest terror in life. We can all relate to this scene because it's the biggest terror, especially when you're little and you haven't found your way.
Oh, yeah.
Of everybody laughing at you, right?
Yeah.
In Carrie, right, when the mother's, everyone's going to laugh at you. Everyone's going to laugh at you.
Yeah, I know.
That is something so terrifying.
Absolutely.
Before you're formed. And even after.
I say, even if you're formed, it still hurts. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's bulletproof. I mean, people always say, your feelings hurt. Yeah, my feelings get hurt. I'm human.
Right,
of course
exactly.
I do. No one likes someone to talk shit about you.
Yeah.
You always,
but also, if people are talking shit
they
about
get
you,
it
they're
wrong.
noticing you.
They always get right, but they always get it wrong. Have you seen the Billy Joel thing?
No.
It's really good. But there's a thing in there where their story, Christy Brinkley was telling, was different than what I get the same thing, but in a different thing. So I always get people all the time like, "Oh, you live next to my friend and so," and I'm like, "Well, who's your friend?" And they're like, the Connors. And I'm like, Connors? I said, Florida or Vegas? They go, Florida. I go, in Florida? Yeah, you're next door neighbors. I'm like, they're not. They don't live. No, they live. I'm like, where do they live? They're like, your house is next. I'm like, no, my house is not. I'm not in Disney. Like they'll say like in like an area. Yeah, I'm like, no, I live in Winter Park. Like, no, you. I said, no, I don't know. I don't know. Like when they tell you where you live. No, you live in. No, I don't live there. I live in. No, okay, I do.
You're right.
Well,
this happens a lot.
Oh no, all the time. You drive. You drive this yellow Ferrari. I said, I don't have a Ferrari. Yeah, you have a yellow. I said, I don't have a fucking. You pulled in the valet in a yellow. I said, I've never pulled into a valet in anything yellow. First of all. And it's not a Ferrari. They said, yeah. I said, wait, was I filming something?
Yeah.
Was it for a commercial? Like, you know what I mean? And they're like, no,
it's like the Mandela effect.
you come in the. I'm like, no, I don't have a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck is wrong?
So why does that happen to you a lot?
I don't know. The people have this fantasy.
Weird.
They get it all the time.
That's
the
weird.
house thing. You live here. You have. We did blow all the time back in the day. I'm like, we didn't do blow together. Yeah, we did. I never done cocaine. Like, what are you fucking crazy people? That I do get a lot. Yeah, we used to party all the time. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I go, no. Yeah, man. I'm like, no. Man, we used to take us up in the suite at where? And they're like, Harrah's. I never played Harrah's.
It's so weird.
I just go, yeah, right on. That was those days.
Yeah. It was wild back then.
I look like I do drugs. That's what's funny.
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you smoke weed?
Nope. I don't do anything. I don't.
I don't either.
Heroin.
I want to, though.
The heroin thing is kind of.
I'd
Someone
like
said
to.
the other day, do you know Kathleen Madigan?
Yeah, I love
very,
Kathleen.
very funny. She
Oh,
came to
my
my
God.
show the night, and she's just so funny. And she drinks the red wine. So we did this bit because she drinks so much red wine.
Yeah.
And I look and she's like, oh shit. The worst thing about drinking red wine, look at my teeth. And I said, well, it's better. I'd rather see people with red teeth than no teeth. Like, right, you're a fucking heroin crack addict, right? Oh, so you drink red wine. Oh, no teeth. Oh, so you did crack. Red teeth are okay. She's like, I said, no, I'm putting that in my show. You can't have that.
She's so funny. We do a thing on this program called an uncomfortable moment.
Oh, Lord. This whole thing's been. What do you mean?
Well,
moment.
It's going to get
this whole hour.
It's going to get worse. No, it's not so bad. Sometimes we find out some real shit on
I need
people.
to smoke for this one.
This
uncomfortable moments with Phyllis Diller. Now, tell me right now.
We all influence each other, and everybody seems to, there's all these great people that you're mentioning, Carlin and Buddy Hackett and stuff like that, and it seems like at a certain point, I don't know if the chronology of this works perfectly because you're ahead of me, but it seems like at least you went on a little bit of a diversion where you were trying to be more like me on stage. And you were working with a suit and tie, and
No, that's AI, right? I don't think I've ever
I think it's you.
I don't. Wait a minute.
pretty
Wait,
sure
let
it's
me see
you.
what. Let's see the background of that would be. No, that's not. That's AI for sure. That's like Jay Leno's body. It's like a monologue or some shit.
It does look like
No, it's not my body.
That's so
either.
funny.
That's great.
That's so funny.
You can look right at it and
I
see.
picked the Tonight Show off the background too.
No, see, I knew the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
See.
It could have been you. Would have been
Oh,
all
but
gone wrong.
if I did it,
If Bill Hicks doesn't come down the hall,
Right.
and you're like, no man, I got to wear a suit and tie like Seinfeld and
I gotta
Jay
do
Leno.
this just so now people are gonna say I didn't know Kids Don't Smoke. See, they'll be like, I saw him smoking. Do you remember that? What's your person you said earlier went? I wish I could drink or eat something that made me do that. And if you think of it, yeah. You ever do something you're just like, oh man, like no, isn't it?
What, in a good way?
Yeah, like someone has a puff of the cigarette and they go,
Oh yeah, I know.
you're like, does that?
I
you ever
really
eat a steak and go, fucking so good.
I really envy smokers.
I know. I want to be one. It's just
know.
because they're so fun. They just sit around in groups
Yeah.
and talk.
And they get to like just in the middle of a party, just be like, "I'm out of here for a
I'm
minute."
out of here.
And they just get to walk outside.
They just go leave.
Without a cigarette. That's a weird thing to do.
That's so great. Without a cigarette. You're like,
Right.
Wait a minute.
Why is he just
You can't
standing by
leave
the pool
without
by
a
himself?
cigarette. You can't leave. You can't
Yeah.
have a cigarette.
If you have a cigarette in your hand, it's all of a sudden acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think you'll ever be a dad?
Oh, fuck. Maybe the next hour or two. Yeah. Now that we're on that horrible path I took us another legend, and it happened right here in L.A. And this is great. You'll appreciate this one. I come out of a little coffee shop in Robertson, and I look and I'm like, Jesus, it's not Merle Haggard. God damn it.
Willie Nelson?
No. God damn it.
Faye Dunaway?
No. No.
H&R Puff and
Hold
stuff?
on a second. God damn it. Yes, it's H.R. Puff stuff. And I'm like, is that really H.R. Puff stuff? No, it's Milton Berle. And I look and I'm like, that's fucking Milton Berle, right?
Yeah.
And I do the same thing with. I'm like, I'm not going to walk up to him.
Yeah.
He's sitting with same thing, sitting with probably his manager. And I walk by, and the manager kind of looked over, and he goes, oh. And I said, hey, and he says, oh, and I saw him say like that. So I thought, now I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Says, I don't do this. I said, I'm sorry. Can I say hi to Uncle Milton?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, absolutely. He's like, he says to the guy, you're hilarious. You're fucking great. I said,
Yeah.
thanks. He says, Milton. And I go, ah. He says, this is Carrot Top. He's an up and coming comedian. He's very funny. And Milton Berle says, I'm not showing you my dick. Do you know the story about that?
Yeah, of course.
And I just thought, how great is that? He was always known from comics who say, a cock, you're going to, because he had like a 19-inch cock. And just once you hear your comic, I'm not showing you my dick. And I just thought, that's fucking great. That's his way of not wanting to talk to a comedian. Yeah, I'm not showing you my dick. And I said, I didn't want to see your dick.
Great line.
I just want to shake your hand.
It'd be funny if we just started using that line.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be great? Hey, it's my friend Steve. Look, I'm not showing you my dick.
I've never even heard about it.
I didn't even heard about who's talking about it.
No one's talking about it.
I'm talking about it.
Any cool legendary run-ins in Vegas?
Absolutely.
Right?
It's so fun. I mean, we get people that come to the show, it's
Right.
Queen, Sting, that kind of stuff. And it's
Really?
so surreal because you're,
Freddie Mercury, Queen?
No, well, but not, of course, not with Freddie, but the rest of the band.
Right.
But Brian May came. This is great. Brian May came to the show 2 nights in a row. Now, here's the weird part. He came with Roger Taylor, the drummer. They came, and Roger's actually, have become friends over the years. But Brian, I'd only met him like at the concert. He's very, very beyond just wonderful people.
Yeah.
So they come to the show, and it's like literally royalty. Like
Yeah.
they just smell like rock star. And they have their coats and their British and their British. And they have the security, and they're like, Scott, it's just wonderful show. And so Brian says to me, I don't want to be that guy. And I said, what? He says, would it be like okay if I bring my son tomorrow night? And I said, to this? He goes, yeah. I said, to my show again? And he goes, no, my son's flying in tonight, and I really want him to see this.
Yeah.
And he was just going on how about great the show.
Yeah.
So and he says, how do you do the thing, the cues, and it was just great. So I said, absolutely. And he says, and I'm thinking, I don't want him,
Yeah. Pressure.
They come back the next night, and he came backstage, and he says to me, all right, I got to be honest with you. And I said, what? He says, I thought that was a fluke. Because it was so good the night before, and then the next night it was even better, and for him to see through it twice, and then he even said to me,
"Oh man,
I liked you added He knew I added like one word to a bit.
Right?
He goes, did you add more smoke to the thing with? I said, yeah, like
nice.
What the? Yeah.
Oh, that's
incredible.
Great.
That was incredible because
and
you could tell a real pure joy in his face because he didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
But he was kind of honest with me. He could have. That was unbelievable. He said, I got to be honest. I didn't think it was going to be good. I'm like, shit. Sting was fun because he came back and what do you do with Sting for God's sake? Jay Leno has a great bit about that when he had Sting on the show and his mom and dad come to he says, my mom and dad want to come to the Tonight Show and who's going to be the thumbing Sting is on the show. So I said, mom, dad, all right, Sting is going to be on the show. So he brings him back. His mom, Stingman, and he says, "No, this is Sting, Dad." And he goes, "Stingman." He goes, "No, Sting." And his dad, "I don't understand." His dad, his name is just Sting. It's just Sting. And so when he came to the show, I said, Jay Leno does a brilliant bit about you, and he says, he just kind of, we hadn't met yet. He just kind of looked at me like, who is my crew? Is all sitting in like over here, like watching a hockey game, and he's just standing there. A couple of friends with him, and I said, "Do you want to?" He's no, I'm good. I said, we would do a shot before the show, like literally, like just a ceremonial shot of Crown Royal, just for shit and giggles, just
That's cool.
do anything, break your, open your vocal cords or shit. It's just, a little shot.
Yeah. Kind
He's like, no, and he's like, no, all right. So we're sitting there thinking, this is surreal. We're all doing shots with Sting, And he's kind of like not overly friendly, but he's he's like
reserved.
There's a shot, and then he says, "What are you watching?" And my crew says, "Hockey." And he goes, "Well, no shit." Like he was kind of like, "Oh fuck." Like he knew it was hockey. He didn't know what teams were playing. He says, "Well, no shit." Like, and then they walked him up to the show, and I'm thinking, that didn't go. This is not going to be good.
Yeah.
And I do the show, and I thought, no, I'm not going to announce him. He's there. I had the minute in my hand.
Yeah.
And he came back, and he must have hung out for an hour and a half.
Oh, really?
And he was delightful and more enjoyable than I. But at the first meeting, I thought, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yelling at my crew. Well, no shit, it's fucking hockey. I can see that. No, I know it's not tennis. I'm like,
yeah.
I yelled at my crew. Way to go. Good job.
Did you have to pretend?
Like Ellen would yell at her girl.
Yeah. Do you ever get a reputation for being a diva?
No, I don't have any.
Damn.
No.
Maybe that'll be the next phase.
No, people.
Carrot Top, I heard, has gotten really mean.
Well, I know. I don't have it. I don't think I have it in me. But I can't even in a movie. I can't even act that I'm an asshole. I just can't. I can't do it.
Yeah.
No, you got to be mean in this. I'm like, I can't. So
it just doesn't come off.
I had something I was going to talk about that, but shit. Oh, diva. So back when a lot of road shows, when they had the writer, as they call him, and everybody gets a writer. So we had, we didn't do the brown M&Ms and all that shit that became infamous for a reason why they did that.
Sneakers and
right. So we had a bottle of wine. Like a red wine, a white wine,
right.
Bottle of red, bottle of white, and a bottle of Crown, and then that was a soap, so everyone can take a shower after that. Yeah. But that was a normal. It wasn't like
standard rider.
Very standard. Except that, okay, so it gets online, and people are just like, what the fuck? This is what he demands. I'm like, first of all, hold on. You go, then we'd post like, this is my writer, and this is Madonna. So it was like 19 pages of shit. I said, we're asking for soap, okay? But people were just like you said, just dissecting it.
Yeah.
And so the last thing was and only we did this because my crew. When they take a shower, they wanted socks, but only do one night we needed them. So on the writer it said, two things of
tube socks,
or socks.
Yeah.
And for years, I was like, "What?" Every night we do a show, like, I just fucking socks. We would just like, they were just every night we just like, didn't want socks. We just give them to people, you know. And so people were just ripping me, just socks, and I'm like, it's so we, you know, posted, you know, all the shit that, you know, Mariah Carey needs, and this is my needs, you know. I need.
Have you seen those riders?
I need fake grapes and a broken cigarette. That's all I need.
Did you see those? Have you seen those riders like Madonna's?
Oh yeah.
Are they completely insane?
Oh, insane! They're pages and pages and pages long.
That's so funny.
And we just want, you know, we want air conditioning. We want a place to shower,
bottled water.
Yeah, not even bottled water. Yeah, we didn't even need bottled water, but they would go crazy. Like, drinking alcohol, bottles of wine and booze. I'm like, it's.
How about Barry Manilow? He
What
ever come to your
Barry
show?
What about
He's
Barry
a big
Manilow?
Vegas guy.
Yeah, Barry Manilow is awesome. Yeah, he's we're always competing for the, like, right now the shows, like the best shows in Vegas and stuff.
Right.
And it's an honor to be, of course, so I put a thing in the show. Who got first place is Barry Manilow.
Oh, really?
Second place, Donny Osmond. And third place, hey, me, right? And I do a whole thing. It's you know, it's total bullshit. We need to recount, and it's dumb, but it's real. So now we're up for the USA Today. Best, and goddamn, sure enough, it's Barry Manilow.
Really? Still?
Yeah, Barry Manilow,
God.
And the one that kind of, as we know, we're not looking for, like, you know, it's, you don't get anything for it. It's, and no one
Bragging
even
rights.
gives a shit. They're not even bragging right. No one's gonna go, hey, what could USA Today? Because we were in it the last 4 years, and we got, you know, 7th, 5th, 3rd. So now we're at number 2.
Wow.
But it's Barry Manilow, me.
Wow.
And then it's Eagles, Santana. So I said to my crew the other night, I spent the show the other night, I said, all right, I'm just going to concede right now. I mean, we're going up against fucking Santana and the Eagles. Why, how? The Eagles played 4 nights in Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's not, how is it? And they said, because it's the best show they've seen in Vegas. Okay. So it's not, it doesn't matter. It's just, it's funny to me. Like, we're not going to beat the Eagles and we're not going to beat Santana, you know?
But holy cow.
We're gonna really? I said, I'm going to concede. I told my crowd last night, I said, it's very easy. You go to USA.com. I did it today, and you just vote for the Eagles. It's that easy.
Right.
Let's just end this.
But man, good on you.
No, I don't even know how to read. That's the weird part. So
For
I'm
real.
at USA Today.
30 years in of that you're, I mean, to be relevant is, to be hanging on kind of relevant is a big deal.
I am hanging on.
To be listed on,
I mean, look at you.
To be listed in these top shows.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
It's really incredible.
No, it's an honor. It's incredible, and it makes the crowd actually think I'm making it up. They get dead solid.
Yeah.
I said, no, this is real. I said the Eagles are gonna beat us, but, you know, please vote for them.
Yeah, but really, I mean, you should. You're walling me off a little bit, but you should. I'm going to make you accept it. The only way that you are doing that kind of damage 30 years in is that you're creative and you're constantly, you care and you're working.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That really is a big deal.
Yeah,
there's not that many people that have that kind of longevity in this business.
And I think you're going back to what you were saying earlier about when the Carlin thing. You know, you and I know a lot of other comics. There's no way you can do it with that thought.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like, it doesn't matter if the crowd's laughing or not. No, I think the whole thing is if they laugh. I mean, that's why they're coming back.
Right.
And I get a lot of repeat business, and that's why you always have to write. And my friend's like, yeah, but it's always new crowds. I said, I understand. It's Vegas. People are coming in every day. However, when you have repeat people like I do, like I'll say how many people have been in the show for, almost the whole crowd claps.
Wow.
So they've seen it.
Yeah.
And the first thing they comment is like, wow, your show's always fresh. So you have a brand new joke about the gene shit going on, or you have whatever current event happens to be. We did one last night, brand new. I was just driving into work. I was telling you, I never write. I was just driving, and I saw a billboard, and it's hilarious. It says, it's for the Sahara, and it says this really hot girl on the billboard, and she's in a pose like this, and it says, "Meet me at the pool." So I showed the billboard, and I said, hey, this is great. Look at this billboard. Meet me at the pool. And then when you get there, and it cuts to the, like 500 people, all guys in a big pool. It's a gay pool at the Luxor.
Right.
And it just erupts because it's so funny. It's like, meet me at the pool. Then you get there, really? You know, you're like, Sarah? So, right last night, the guy's like, that's new, right? I'm like, it's not even an hour old. We just I knew it'd be funny. I mean, you see it and it's very funny.
Before we go,
No.
I was reading about that Vegas has dipped in tourism this year. Like, there's been
So is my sex drive, but hey, we'll fix that.
You've seen all these changes in Vegas from the time you started, and things have been built and been torn down. Where do you see Vegas going? Do you feel like it's always going to be?
No, they're going to. I mean, there's a lot of things happening with just tourism in a drop of Canadians coming in.
Yeah,
a lot of
nationwide. Yeah.
So it's gonna adjust. Vegas will. They're not dumb. They're gonna figure out to get
right. That's true. They're not dumb.
No, I mean they're not. But, and they're gonna they'll. I already have had meetings with certain people and I can't be the one that's thinking this. They're looking at me. I'm talking to the executive, and I'm like, why don't the Las Vegas Board of Travel, what do they call it? I should know. I do a lot of stuff for them.
Yeah.
Do a commercial like they do. What happens in Vegas, but not that.
Yeah.
You come back and make it special. You show the Golden Nights. You show the girls. They show the restaurants. You show the shows. You show
the new stuff.
Whatever is even maybe baseball stadiums coming. The stadium, the Raiders, and then Vegas. The place to be. Make it positive. All they're doing is they're showing clips of people bitching and moaning about bottled water being $30 in a room. That's
right. Yeah.
I mean that's always been always, but Vegas can turn it around.
Yeah.
And get people back. I think it's also unfortunate because Vegas used to be before I performed there was you go there for a $2 meal, and they get right. They go and you get eggs and steak for $2.99. Okay,
right,
that was
exactly.
1920.
And rooms for $60.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not now. I mean, come on, people. So it's a new thing, but you got to make it special because you can gamble anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you can.
Right.
But you want to make it special. You can't. You go
that's what's
gaming in here in California.
Yeah.
But if you want to go to a really cool show or a restaurant or go watch the Golden Knights or do something,
it's still really
and
special.
the Red Rock Mountains. I mean, there's so much stuff to do there.
Yeah.
They promote that.
It's very cool. Well, this was great. I mean,
I hope they fix it because I ain't got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, what would happen? You can do a residency. What's the one in Missouri that?
Branson.
Branson. Yeah.
Imagine me. I'd move.
Being Branson.
You can't even say darn. You're out of there. Hey, how about this darn? You said darn. Oh shit.
The travesty.
Yeah, the travesty. He said darn. Listen, we have to have a talk.
What are you going to
say darn?
What are you going to do with the bread? You're in a hotel. Or you're going home tonight.
I'm not telling you, but. I'm going back to the hotel. I've not checked in yet, and I'm gonna eat that whole thing.
All right, good.
In one bite.
All right, good.
No, it looks very good.
It is good.
It looks homemade. It looks like you made it.
Oh my God.
It looks like.
Did anyone clear? Don't we send
like,
information out that they're going to get fresh bread?
It says Whole Foods right on the bottom of it, stamped in it.
This is really great.
Yeah, Tom, thank you.
I've always admired you, and that you're still cranking out at this top level is no surprise to me.
Well,
it's
that's
really
very nice, even. I appreciate it.
Always been
all
great.
your fans watching.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you guys listening to my stupid
Will you come
story.
back?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, different tablecloth, but I'll be back.
And I'll give you store-bought bread.